How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm
Are
doing
you
good.
are
Can you?
you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to have you here. So, how's your day going today?
It's good. Got up I was at the mountain biking trail at about 10 after 6 this morning. So, I already got a mountain bike ride in and recorded a couple of scripts and yeah, things are moving along.
No, that's great. It's a real pleasure to have you here on Chat with Legends. So, to start our question, I would like to ask a little bit about you. Who is Ron? Can you talk a little bit about yourself, about your dreams?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have I'm married. I have a kid. I have kids. I've got three. And they are, let me see if I can remember the ages. I didn't write all this stuff down. I should have. 24, 19 tomorrow. In fact, birthday dinner is in order today. And 15 are the ages. So a couple in college, one in high school, and been married for 26 years this year. And my dreams are, as far as what moves me, what motivates me, and all that is, it's pretty simple. Take care of my family, is the number one thing. Be able to provide for them financially, obviously, and then set myself up in a position to be able to actually spend time with them instead of just being the guy that hands out all the money. So that's pretty much it. Just being able to take care of them and provide those opportunities to experience life together. You know,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and it means a lot actually. So, it's
right,
powerful. You said powerful words here. Means a lot to listen to those words.
right,
So
yeah.
talking about your career, what does it mean to be a voiceover artist? Some people don't even understand the real meaning of being a VO. So what does it mean to be a voiceover artist?
Well, so keep in mind this is you've caught me. We were in Europe for 3 weeks, from the middle of June until July 3rd. So this is and during that time, I left my corporate career behind and I came back to the States with being fully self-employed. So you're catching me in the very beginning stages, which is totally cool. But what it means to be a voiceover artist for me is really, um, first of all, being able to understand who you are and tap into your life experiences, being able to authentically deliver what's written on a script by somebody else in a way that you would have experienced it. Being able to channel yourself. That's what, I mean, in some ways, I guess a lot of us really want to mimic somebody that we've heard that's really awesome out there in the world. But instead of doing that, I can't deliver consistency by mimicking. I can only deliver consistency by truly tapping into who I am and then consistently delivering that over and over again. Some people will like it, some people won't. And that's okay.
Looking to this pandemic time, actually, we're leaving the pandemic time already. But can you tell a little bit about the impacts of COVID-19 in your career?
Yeah. So for, you know, COVID really, again, I'm just now full time, but I really, my business ramped up during COVID. Um, and that was really as a result of me wanting to get out of my corporate career. And, so I can't really say that for voice acting that COVID really had any negative impact. It was all positive for me, but then my effort was also, I knew that I needed to get away from my corporate job. And um, so everything was upside for me. if that makes sense.
I totally understand. I totally understand. But when you look to the film industry, there are certainly certain inspiration people who motivated you as a viewer. When you look to the industry, who are the best, who are the biggest inspirations of your life? The ones you say like, oh,
Well,
I started my path because of that guy.
yeah. So from the film industry, right? Um, that's what you're asking, right?
But you can talk about different inspiration too. There's no need to be exactly inspiration from the film industry.
Sure. Yeah. So for my career specifically, I didn't really have an inspiration that brought me into it. Um, there, I ran across an advertisement in Austin, Texas, when I lived down there about voice acting. And I thought, everybody, and this is the big joke in the voice business, is everybody says you've got a great voice, therefore you can do voice acting, which is,
I can see that you actually have a good voice for viewers.
yeah, but it's and it's good to have a good voice, but that's not the most important thing. But anyway, so that's where I went into it, with that, and I went and did that class, and got feedback that was positive from the instructor, and she said you should keep doing this because I think that you've got a potential to do it. And it ended up that I got promoted at my full-time job at that time, and then so voice just kind of went by the wayside. That was in 2007. So, and then I started again in 2018. So I guess if you want to talk about motivation and inspiration, I was negatively inspired by a boss that came to manage me, and along with some other folks. And he's the one person that I haven't been able to get along with in my entire life. And I decided at that point, I don't think I want this kind of person to have that much control over my destiny financially. So that's when I went back and said, you know what, I really enjoyed voice acting. And that's what drove me to build my studio. And I just said, this is what I'm going to do. And I just haven't looked back. It's been going on almost 4 years now. So there's some good inspiration there. As far as in the movie industry, because I did think about this a little bit, the thing that inspires me about the movie industry that I watch, and I think about like Braveheart, some of my favorite movies that are the most impactful to me. It's about what it boils down to is I like movies and I'm inspired by people who portray characters that prove their life has meaning.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. I totally understand the point. Yeah.
Yeah, life has meaning.
So when you analyze your path, are you managing to run after or to achieve the goals you're designing?
Well, yes and no. So, I kind of look at the goals that I have for voice acting and stuff as being a part of a strategic plan that I've made for my life. And every strategic plan that you have, you've got to figure out what the big goal is, and then you've got to start working backwards, breaking it down to ultimately daily activities that will get you to that end goal, right? So that's how you strategically plan. You've also got to build in benchmarks of success of, hey, at this point, maybe I can not have my corporate job anymore, which is the benchmark that I just passed. But the challenges now going forward are what made me successful in a corporate career were creating daily habits that created success. Now I don't have anyone else pushing me into that structure. It's just me. So I've got to be able to maintain the same level of dedication and commitment to myself that I did when I had a corporate job. And just, and I'm in the process now. Again, we talked about this being just my first full-time week, of what are those daily habits that are going to create this success long term. And that's really where I'm at exactly right now.
I hope you achieve bigger goals in the near future.
Yeah, we are. Every day we're achieving something, right?
Yeah. Now, looking to your career, can you tell us what does make you unique as a voiceover?
Sure. I mean, obviously, everybody sounds a little bit different.
Yeah.
There's something in the industry called a voice print, and it is synonymous or analogous to a fingerprint. Just the way you sound is different. But the reality is, if you go back to where I described what it meant to be a voice artist, nobody's had the same life experience as I've had. Nobody's, got my family. Nobody's looks at things the way I look at them. They don't have my perspective. They haven't looked at climbed up the same mountain and looked out and seen and thought the same things that I have. So all those things that make me unique as a person are the exact same things that make me unique as a voice artist, from a potential performance aspect, because what I'm tapping into is completely different than everybody else. Not necessarily completely, but it's going to be different because it is different. So from a service level standpoint, the other side of that coin, what makes me different is, again, we talked about creating those habits, which I'm still doing. But work ethic, for the past almost 4 years, I've been working 60 to 70 hours a week. I gave up a lot of vacations, to continue to build my voice career outside of, outside of my corporate career. And, having that kind of work ethic and being able to move so that I'm adding all of that time into my voice career is something that's going to set me apart. Because there's the Society of Voice Arts does a survey annually that asks what the average income of voice actors is, and 75% answered that they had not made I think it was the 40,000 a year level, and I've surpassed that, which is nice. So just by being very, very persistent, and that was with a full-time job. The other part of it is I develop relationships with my customers, because life is a relationship. The people work for and with folks that they want to work with. They have the choice. There's a lot of people out there doing what I'm doing. What is it? Why do we like working with Ron? Well, because he's funny sometimes. Sometimes it's just a dad joke and they probably don't get it and they just answer me anyway. And my goal is to continually operate in a way that is going to make them want to work with me. So relationship, work ethic, those are the two things.
That's great. There are certainly certain challenges, hardship during the path, during your career. Can you talk about the hardship, the challenge you have been facing as a voiceover artist in the industry?
Has been having to be up when you're not up, having to be able to switch on a performance, or, after I've worked 10 hours, come home and do something. So much of my brain power and just daily enthusiasm. How do you shift gears and come in and try and give as good a performance and work as hard, and with good quality as you can in the second career? So that has been my biggest challenge. And I knew that was going to be the challenge, because when you're tired, when you had a rough day, it's tough, and nobody's making me do this. It's all my choice. So I have the choice to run away if I want, but I choose to continue to stick in there and submit the jobs and do what people are asking me to do. If that makes sense. I think that's been the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would love, don't get me wrong, I would love to have even more awesome, even more high paying clients, but one step at a time is the way I'm looking at it. So.
No, I totally feel what you're saying, Ron. I totally feel it. So talking about the future, where do you intend to go? What are the plans and what are the perspectives?
Well, right now my primary focus is on, I do a lot of e-learning, and I do some commercial, and then I do some corporate narration. My goal is to flip that and focus more on commercial, less on e-learning going forward. It's to be able to tap into enough clients, build relationships with enough clients to where I've got a good solid base of productivity on a daily basis. That's not necessarily big national campaigns. Hey, Ron's awesome every day, but just grunt work daily. Joe's car care, ads. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just to build that base higher than it is currently, and to shift the focus from e-learning more to commercial in the more immediate future. That's probably the first year goal is to make that switch.
So for those who are watching us right now, how can they find you? How can they find your service? How can they call and say, "Oh, Ron, I have something for you"?
Right. Well, you go to my website. My name is Ron Knezek, but my website is rkvoiceactor.com. Obviously, we found each other on LinkedIn, so I'm there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on a lot of the social stuff, but I'm really only somewhat active, or more active, on LinkedIn and Instagram, and those are easy ways. Or just go straight to the website. It's got all my contact information.
Yeah. No, but there is a point. There is something that actually makes me wonder sometimes. Can you tell about the process of creating or conceiving an idea? I know that you have certain jobs that actually you did by yourself. Can you tell us about the process of creating a new voice, creating a new product to the industry? How does it work?
Well, so I I struggle a little bit to answer this for me and for my product, since it is my voice, basically reading a script. The way that I approach a script is really try to figure out what kind of environment is the person that's in the script in, and then what actually has happened in my life that relates, that can hopefully put my mind in the same headspace, so that when I say things, whenever I read the script, that there's some actual emotional content to it, instead of just me reading words. I've got to put my mind in that situation and feel the feelings, the emotion that go along with being in that situation. And then hopefully that comes out, and it will come out if you can actually tap into that. That's the big challenge. Always going to be practicing that one.
I know you have been creating commercials and narration for clients. Have you managed to achieve the goals? Or I know you were saying a little bit about this, like you're willing to have better jobs, etc. But when you look to the job you've been doing lately, are you managing to achieve those certain goals that you have on your mind?
Well, yes and no. So, I mean, have I achieved the big goal? No, but I have stratified goals. I don't, I don't believe, just like the film business, I'm not going to go get an Oscar because I decided to be an actor this week. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in any industry that I know of, where you just all of a sudden go to the top. So the important thing for me is, and thankfully I've got some good mentors that help me to evaluate myself, is to really understand the level that I'm at and the level that I want to succeed at, and succeed at the level that I'm at. And, and then just build upon that. So yes, I can be hitting goals right now, even though it's just a goal, a benchmark, a step along the way to the bigger goals. So I would say that I am, otherwise I wouldn't have stepped away from corporate life. But there's always more there's always more opportunities. There's always different levels and different kinds of clients and different, things that you can do.
Yeah. No, I hear your words. I remember, you make me remember the chat I had with Red Storm. Red Storm is a voiceover artist. And one of the things he told me is we need to stay strong. We need to believe, and above all, we need to keep trying, keep fighting, and keep punching until we find what we're looking for. Do you see life as a kind of a constant hardships that we need to face before we reach that mountain, we reach that honey, that milk we're looking for? Do you see life this way?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think personally, the biggest challenge I have is with myself.
Yeah.
Is am I gonna run up in the studio at the time that I decided? But that's not really a hardship. It's not a challenge. It's an opportunity. I have the opportunity to run up to my studio and be faithful in those things that I've decided that I'm going to do. Is it hard? Yes, but it's not a hardship. There are very few hardships that I'm seeing people face, and realistically, there have been a lot of hard things in my life, but I have a really hard time saying that they're even hardships. I think it's just life. And I think you just take one step at a time, stay focused on the big picture, and whatever happens, whatever comes at you, just keep doing, stick with what your plan is, and keep going.
Yeah. So Ron, I know you work for Young Life. I actually was truly interested in knowing a little bit more about this side of your life. I'm saying this because Young Life is an organization which works in this goal of introducing teenagers to Jesus Christ. So I'm saying it's interesting because I'm wondering now, what does it mean to be faithful? What are the challenges that we have as people who believe in Jesus in the modern times? Do we still believe in Jesus the way we used to? What are we missing?
It's a great question. Obviously, there's a whole lot of books out there about that. I wish I could answer the question for you super quick and concisely. I think that I think like everything, it's pretty important to stay focused on those things that are the most important. And for us, the volunteer work that my wife and I do with Young Life, it is simply to introduce kids, through Jesus to God, so that they understand that they're here on purpose. They're not an accident. They have value. they have worth. And in order for us to be able to communicate that, the only way that you can really communicate that with, whether it's a teenager or another adult, is by acting that way yourself. So myself, my wife, and herself, we've got to. The only there's a couple of things. I mean, Jesus said, the greatest commandment is love the Lord your God, right? And the second one is like that, and love your neighbor as yourself. I mean, love God, love people. I think the challenge of faith these days is when we go beyond that, or feel like we have to do some part of what's God's job. I can't do God's job for him. I have a hard enough time just waking up in the morning and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Very, very simple. Love God, appreciate those things that he's done for us, and love people by developing relationships that reflect our relationship with God, with our relationship with them, not be God to them, but just love them. It's just that simple, but we get really complicated sometimes.
I understand. Those are truly powerful words. So thank you, Ron, for your time. It was a real privilege to have you here on Chat with Legends. We were facing some certain technical problem here, but we hope to give to the people a better video of the certain editions here. So we wish you best of luck on your career, and we hope to see big works from you in the near future.
Absolutely. Well, I sure appreciate the opportunity and the chat, and you as well. So I'll be looking. We need to see some big updates.
Thank you, Ron.
All right.
See you in the next episode of Chat.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.